I was with my great friends, Kwame Ture, who name was Stokely Carmichael at the time, and Dr. King, Martin King. I call him Martin, Dr. Martin Luther King, and many other great warriors that's walking behind him in the march. On this march, uh, this was a time when they didn't allow us to vote. This is the time that they, right after they killed 3 civil rights workers, put them in jail, SNCC workers, matter of fact. They put them in jail, and when they put them in jail for working voter registration in Mississippi, they took them out of jail and went out and lynched them. And lynched them and killed them. But then this was right after they killed Medgar Evans, right after they killed Mr. Damon in Hattiesburg, right after they beat Fannie Lou Hamer, right after they burnt down about 60 to 70 churches in the state of Mississippi in 1964, right after they burnt down schools, right after they brought in tanks and armies to fight us because we tried to register people to vote in the state of Mississippi. And they were finding lynchings and all kinds of things, and that's what Mississippi was known for, and that's what they were doing. So they were standing and putting their knees and ropes around men of our necks, catching black brothers and sisters, taking brothers out and cutting their penis off and sticking in the found on the road laying on the road with the penis sticking in their mouth or hanging from trees and stuff. And This is the terrorism that they were putting in our people. And we went there, Stokely and all of us in SNCC, we went there to fight it and to stand up against it. But we met brute forces that fought us, and they did all kinds of things against us. But the SNCC Project we went there in 1961, we under the leadership of Bob Moses and Jim Foreman and John Lewis and other freedom fighters. And there were so many unnamed freedom fighters that played major roles and had major personalities in that movement. And that on this march, we had fought that they passed a civil rights bill. And this was right after they had beat John Lewis and other SNCC workers and other people from Selma and Lowndes County in that area. They had beat them. And when they beat them, for trying to register to vote or trying to speak out or march for trying to vote, they were beat and put off their land and all kinds of things happened to them. And that matter of fact, this is right after Stokely Carmichael and Kwame Ture, as we know him. We started after they beat John Lewis on the bridge. We went and started the Black Panther Party in Lowndes County, Alabama. In Lowndes County, Alabama, we really started the party after that night. They with John Lewis them had marched after he'd been beaten. We went to Montgomery and had a meeting. Martin was the speaker, the main speaker. And then after we got to Montgomery, we had to bring the people back to the rural areas that we had brought them back in cars. And one lady was giving them a ride home, and she came down from Detroit, and she was a white lady and her husband worked. The family was part of the Teamsters, and she came down and gave Jimmy Jones them a ride. And when they gave Jimmy Jones and the others a ride, she was getting ready to drop Jimmy Jones off and driving down Highway 80, coming out of Montgomery, Alabama. They entered into Lowndes County, and when they went over a bridge right outside of Whitehall, went over a highway, went over a hill right outside of Whitehall, Alabama. A group of white men rode up beside them, and one guy now name was Roy, and he had been known to be part of the Birmingham putting bombs all around the South. He was part when the Freedom Riders went down into Anderson, Alabama, went through Montgomery. It was him and his group threw a bomb on the bus and tried to burn the bus where the Freedom Riders was on the bus. And then it was him and his group that planned the bombing of the Birmingham church, where they killed 4 little black girls and shot another little boy in the streets on that same day. And at the same time, it was Aurora and the FBI and this Ku Klux Klan and the police departments in Alabama who put a bomb in the Gaston Motel when Dr. King and myself and many others was in their sleep. We woke up one night to a very loud noise, and the hotel had been blown up.
Wow.
At the same time, we woke up one night, a night after then, that 100 or more white men, firemen and police and other Klan groups bust into the hotel where we were and start kicking doors in and fighting us and trying to beat us. And we had to come out of our room, some naked, some in their drawers, and we had to fight. And even Dr. King had to go out there and throw blows. I didn't know he knew karate, but he had to go. He had to go out there and fight because he's fighting for his life and fighting for our lives. And that they were throwing so many dynamites in Birmingham that we named Birmingham Bombingham.
Dang, Birmingham.
Yeah, they were blowing up the neighborhoods, and that even though we were nonviolent, we had no choice but to buy guns and stand up at night in our neighborhoods on every corner and with guns, waiting on the Klan, the police, or the FBI to come up there to throw their dynamite and bomb our houses, and we had to do that.
Ooh.
So